This is a very interesting topic. Lessons learned from 2010 election, and I think some recommendation for how women can benefit from those lessons. But it's also challenging. You all recall that election of 2010, we were literally one party in this country. We were a sub-nation, and it's like we divided the country. Mu'tamar al-Watani in the north, SPLM in the south. So it was literally a one-party system, even though we had some other small parties and so on. So that could be a challenge in an inclusive democracy. We are now going to a multi-party democracy. So in 2010, our women came through, mostly through the SPLM party. And the SPLM party, and as well as in our Constitution of the Republic of South Sudan, we have an affirmative action of 25%. And that was catered for by giving something called the women list that made sure that any party that was contesting must put at least in that women list 25%. So to ensure that that is achieved. For some reason, we have not achieved it in the last parliament. We have not achieved the 25%. What went wrong? A question that needs to be answered. And by way of answering that question, it is also upon us and those who cares for our laws, because an affirmative action is a law. And anybody who cares for constitutionalism, as well as observing the laws of this country, should be concerned about why was it not achieved. So it's up to us, women and men of this country, who wants to uphold this country up as a state of constitutionalism. We should ask that question. We should monitor it, and we should make sure that this, now the affirmative action is 35%. So this is one lesson. The other lesson is that we are in different parties. Actually, in the last election, not many women came to compete in the geographical constituencies. This is simply because also you need to know your internal democratic processes as a party. Because people are nominated by their parties. If your party is not democratic, internally, you have issues. And I'm a living example. Because of our, I'm not going to avoid speaking about some of the ills that our SPLM then had. And I will narrate a very short story of how I stood as an independent candidate. The reason why I came as an independent candidate was, first of all, I had no intention of contesting for governorship. And then when we went to divide the constituencies in my area, I declined my opportunity for another woman. So I was just there to go and campaign for my party. But then, the democratic processes within the SPLM then decided not to accept the candidate that was elected by the party at the state level. And the decision for who should contest in a constituency, whether it's a gubernatorial position or any other, was decided by the political bureau. So the elected person by the party was rejected at the top level. So the whole party in Unity State decided to say, no, we are not accepting the person being proposed by the Politburo. We are going to put our own candidate, may come what. Then the law does not allow them to actually register the candidate that they have chosen for the election. So, because the Election Commission would want a written consent from the highest organ of the party, which is the Politburo. And the Politburo was not about to give them that. So they decided, they said, we are going to register our candidate as independent. So they went to the person they chose initially, and he said, no, I'm not going independent. So the party had a discussion at the state level, and they decided that, okay, we call Angelina. I was in Juba. So I was called, they sent a delegation, we had a discussion. I told them, are you sure this is going to be very sticky? Because we are going against the leadership of our party. They said, we rejected the nomination of our leadership. After a long debate, we accepted. And that's how I went to the state for contesting election as for gubernatorial position. In fact, when I went to the state, I found that they have done all the necessary processes, including the registration of the required members, including everything that was needed. When I came, they told me, Khalaf, you are registered. You're only coming to sign in the election commission. So this is how it came about. Now, what is the importance of this lesson is that you as women within political parties, within your own political parties, you have to work hard to ensure that your internal democratic processes contribute to a free, fair, and credible election that will ensure the participation of the women and other sectors of society. I know it's challenging, that's why you're all quiet, but it's good. It has to be talked about. We are going to an election. And these are lessons. They are very important lessons for us to talk about if we are to correct ourselves, including the SPLM. If the SPLM is going to learn from that lesson, and I hope they will, and so are the other parties, then we should take into consideration that the will of the people starts from the party. The will of the people starts from the party. It's not once you decided to nominate. In fact, you will ensure more seats if you heed to the results of the primaries within your party, because that shows the popularity of the people that are nominated at those levels. So the lesson and the takeaway is we start from our own parties to make sure that we have, and based on our constitutions, that we have free, fair, and credible democratic processes internally. So this is one lesson that I believe was very important. The other lesson, let me say the third one, is the participation of women in election security and creating that environment that allows for freedom to campaign, freedom to express, and so on. I noticed in that election that women were not participating as observers. Women, there were very few women, and most of them were international women, were not participating as observers. Women were not participating as people in uniform. I'm happy that we already have a network of women who are women in uniform. So you rarely see police women, you know, mining stations, looking after what was going on, or even providing security when people are campaigning. Because election security is not only when you go and look after the ballot and make sure that nobody fiddles with the ballots or the ballot boxes or the ballot papers, or you take from one place and you store it properly. It goes way beyond that. It starts right now as we speak. For when people are campaigning, you need to know the law so that you secure them properly. So we need to now think consciously, how are we going to be part of all these instruments and mechanisms that are going to be involved in ensuring a safe environment for all the women and all those who aspire to be elected to campaign without fear or favor. So it's high time now for us to insert ourselves. And there are many ways to do that. It can be done through the civil society. Women can organize themselves in civil society and provide that observership. Encourage women now to be part of all the other processes. For us in Interior, we have a very big role and responsibility in ensuring a free, fair, and credible election. And we're going to do our best, but we're also going to need your input. As civil society, as women, as those who are stakeholders, to also advise, how can we get it right? Starting from the campaign. This is very, in my view, is very, very critical. Now, so when we talk about women participation, it's not only those women who are, thank you very much, I'll just close it now. Okay. Yeah. So أيوة بالعربي كده أن هنا نبدأ نجهز نفسنا مش بس للنساء الدارين يخوضوا الانتخابات، لكن للنساء اللي يشاركوا في العملية بتاع الانتخابات، لأنه هي عملية، is a process. نحن لازم نشوف القوانين اللي خدتينها، البوليس اللي بيمشي بيعمل لنا security، البروسيس بتاعت التصويت. في حاجة تانية مهم جدا civil society بيقدر يساعدنا فيه، اللي هي voter education. الvoter education نحن في 2010 كان عندنا very complex voter process. كنا صوتنا زول واحد في محطة واحد بيصوت 11 مرة. صوتنا لرئيس الجمهورية، صوتنا لرئيس بتاع حكومة الجنوب، صوتنا للجفنر، وصوتنا للكوميشنر. دي 4. صوتنا للدوائر الجغرافية 5. صوتنا للبارتي ليست 6. صوتنا للومن ليست 7. في الدوائر الجغرافية صوتنا لبرلمان الجنوب 8. صوتنا لبرلمان الخرطوم 9. والتصويت الثاني كان في بارتي ليست لبرلمان الجنوب، لبرلمان الولاية وبرلمان الولاية. يعني التصويت كله 11 ballots. One person, you come there, you vote, you vote, you vote. It's confusing enough لزول متعلم زيك وزيي، ما بالك للناس اللي في البلد. I know إنه المرة ده ما حيكون 11، لكن برضو ما حيكون شوية، لأنه حيكون عندنا البرلمان القومي، حيكون عندنا البرلمان الولائي، حيكون عندنا الجفنر، حيكون عندنا الكوميشنر، حيكون عندنا الرئيس، حيكون عندنا بارتي ليست وومن ليست. 7 times you cast the ballot 7 times. That needs a voter education and how to make the right choices. كيف انت تختار. يعني هنا الوقت داك في الولاية بتاعنا، أنا طبعا ما حتكلم عن منو شال الانتخابات ومنو ما شال الانتخابات، لأنه أصلا the announced one ما خلاص بيجا خلاص زي ما بقولوا السلطة من ربنا. لكن كان في خيارات نسوان بيعملوا، بيصوتوا للرئيس بتاعنا، بيصوتوا لرئيس الجمهورية على أساس كان عندنا اتفاقية بتاع السلام. ده SPLM، ده مؤتمر وطني. لما نيجي لجافنا هم بخلوا SPLM بيجوا بيصوتوا independent، ومرات برجعوا يصوتوا SPLM يمكن في party list ولا يمكن في الدائرة الجغرافية. So they made choices. How did they make those choices? هم عقدوا الخيارات ده كيف؟ أنا my campaign team especially عملنا voter education. ما اعتمدنا لزول، دربنا ناس كتار ومشوا دربوا ناس، دربنا ناس لكاونتيز ورينام، حتى عملنا mock elections. We did mock elections. This was my campaign team. الشيء الثاني أقوله يمكن كلمة أخيرة، كيف أنتوا تنظموا نفسكم؟ ده في أي بارتي. نحن في الولاية كان عملنا شنو؟ نحن نسوان بالذات نظموا نفسهم في كل حي 10 بيت عندهم رئيس، 10 بيت عندهم رئيس. في neighborhood فوق 50 بيت عندهم رئيس. So أنينا وصلنا كل مرة every woman, no woman was left out. واستعملناهم كناس اللي بيمشي بيعملوا campaign بتاعنا reaching out for other voters because they felt that they had ownership of the process. Ownership of the process بيشوفوا ده كان حاجة بتاعهم وماشي يغير حياتهم وكانوا مبسوطين بيه وعملوا commitment كبير شديد. With this I think I should leave room for others. Thank you.